These are 5 wide receivers to consider stashing. Number 1 on the list is Demarcus Robinson. The savvy vet had a solid first season in LA last year on his way to a career-high 14.3 yards per catch. The Rams rewarded him with a 1-year, $5 million extension, and he should have some WR3 juice with some upside all year. We saw him get better and better as the year went on last year. He saw increased opportunity with Cooper Kupp being hurt, but as the season went on, he overtook Tutu Atwell on the depth chart. He ended up starting the last 4 games, and from weeks 13 through 17, he was the WR12 in PPR, averaging 15.4 points per contest. But what's more important is that he showed some really nice rapport with Matthew Stafford, and if Cooper Kupp or Puka Nacua were to miss any time, he would definitely be in the WR2 conversation. At this point, I expect him to play a full complement of snaps and should be on the field plenty. I think he's a nice stash in deeper leagues, but he could be streamable on a week-to-week basis in shallower leagues. He's going to be seeing the third cornerback on the opposing defense's team, and that could open things up for him. Number 2 on the list is Wan'Dale Robinson. Robinson had a nice bounce-back season last year after tearing his ACL, getting 60 grabs, going for over 500 yards, and grabbing 1 touchdown. He also had some nice work in the running game, getting 9 carries for 87 yards and an additional touchdown. What I like about Robinson is that he may fill in a pretty big void. Darren Waller is no longer on the team, Saquon Barkley is with Philadelphia, and Sterling Shepard is no longer on the team as well, leaving a vacated 162 targets. And I think Robinson has a good chance to absorb a good chunk of those. Between him, Malik Nabers, and Darius Slayton, I think he's going to be on the field quite a bit. And I wouldn't be shocked to see him both used in the short passing game and as a runner. At 5'8", 185, he should probably operate out of the slot quite a bit, and he's a very good route runner. His one limitation, just like every other receiver on that team, is Daniel Jones. He's going to run as he does. But as far as opportunity, I think it's going to be there. I think at this point, he's a good stash in most leagues if you have an open roster spot, and you could easily see his role grow throughout the season. Number 3 on the list is Josh Reynolds. Reynolds signed a 2-year, $9 million deal with the Broncos this offseason after having a solid year with Detroit last year. He had 40 grabs, going for over 600 yards, and had 5 touchdowns. And with the Broncos recently releasing Tim Patrick, I think Reynolds pretty much gets thrust into the number 2 role behind Courtland Sutton. With Sean Payton at the helm, I'm still expecting this team to be run first behind Javonte Williams and Jaleel McLaughlin, but Reynolds could operate as a nice safety valve for rookie Bo Nix. I'm also expecting Marvin Mims' role to increase this year, but to open things up, I'm expecting Reynolds to have a pretty strong lock on that number 2 job. I think he's a great stash in deeper leagues, and he's someone worth watching. Number 4 on the list is Andre Iosivas. I think Iosivas has a lot of potential. To open up the year, he could be the number 3 guy on the depth chart. The Bengals are looking for a replacement for Tyler Boyd, and he may be the guy. They also drafted Jermaine Burton, who could see his role increase as the year goes on, but to kick things off, I think this is Iosivas' job. This will be year 2 for him, and I'm expecting some big improvement, largely due to opportunity. The receptions and the yards weren't there last year, but he did get 4 touchdowns, and that's what makes him intriguing. At 6'3", 212, he has some really nice red zone presence. The Bengals also love to pass the ball. Last year, they had the 2nd highest team passing play percentage, throwing it a little bit over 63% of the time, and Joe Burrow had the 4th most attempts on a per-game basis. Also, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase have both dealt with injuries throughout their first few years in the league, so that could create some opportunity for Iosivas if either of them miss time. And let's not forget that Chase is still dealing with a contract situation, and even if they figure things out before the season starts, he may not be game ready for week 1, which would give Iosivas a nice boost. At this point, I think that 3rd pass catcher spot is between him, Burton, and Mike Gesicki. But like I mentioned, I think Iosivas has the best chance to take it to start the year and has a good chance to build off of the 4 touchdowns he scored last year. Number 5 on the list is Jalen Tolbert. Tolbert seems poised to take that step in year 3. He's gotten rave reviews out of training camp. A lot of people are saying he's the most improved player, and I think he's a good bet to build off of his 22-catch, 270-yard, 2-touchdown campaign from last year. It also helps that Michael Gallup just retired, so they're looking for another pass catcher. Brandon Cooks is also dealing with a knee injury and is in danger of missing week 1. So he may be thrust into a larger role than a lot of people are expecting. And even though CeeDee Lamb just signed his deal and has been keeping in shape, he did miss the entire preseason. And staying in shape on the side versus being in game shape are 2 different things. He's going to be on a pitch count during practice this week, and he may be a little bit limited even if the Cowboys don't say it. This team is also lacking in the running back department. They have Ezekiel Elliott and Rico Dowdle, and I believe they signed Dalvin Cook to the practice squad, but I think they're going to be heavily reliant on the pass game this year. It's going to be funneled between CeeDee Lamb, Jake Ferguson, and Tolbert potentially. Those are 5 wide receivers to consider stashing. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe and let me know which receivers you think we should stash in the comments below.